Well, another great is calling it quits because four-time Formula 1 world champion Sebastian Vettel announced on Thursday via his newly launched Instagram account ahead of this weekend's Hungarian Grand Prix that he would be leaving the series at the end of the season. Now, Vettel debuted in Formula 1 in 2007 and reached the pinnacle of his success with Red Bull winning the World Championship every year between 2010 and 2013. He joined Ferrari in 2015 before making the switch to Aston Martin in 2021. The news represents a significant shift in the F1 driver market for next year, freeing up a seat with Aston Martin alongside Lance Stroll. The decision to retire has been a difficult one for me to take, and I've spent a lot of time thinking about it, Vettel said in a statement released by Aston Martin. At the end of the year, I want to take some more time to reflect on what I will focus on next. It's very clear to me that, being a father, I want to spend more time with my family. But today is not about saying goodbye, rather it's about saying thank you to everyone, not least to the fans without whose passionate support Formula 1 could not exist. Vettel made his Formula 1 debut for BMW at the 2007 United States Grand Prix before gaining a mid-season promotion with Toro Rosso later that year. The following year, perhaps the most significant event in his career occurred in Monza. Vettel certainly improved after 2008, but it was the circumstances of the victory, his inexperience, the unfancied car and the tricky conditions that made the 2008 Monza Grand Prix so memorable. Toro Rosso's 2008 season was undoubtedly one of its best, but the team formerly known as Minardi was more of a point scorer than a podium contender. Rain during qualifying at Monza allowed Vettel to take advantage of the Ferrari-powered STR3, and he took the pole position. The track was still wet on race day, but the faster cars such as Heikki Kovalanen's McLaren starting on the front row were expected to be too strong over the 53 laps. The race began behind the safety car, with Vettel leading Kovalainen when the action resumed, and he drew away. Vettel overcame a wild moment early on and led after the first round of pit stops. Kovalainen appeared exhausted, but his teammate was not. Vettel had Lewis Hamilton in his mirrors at half distance, the McLaren driver charging after starting 15th. Then Hamilton pitted and put on more extreme wets, with McLaren expecting more rain. This was a critical juncture. If it rained again, Hamilton could finish on those tyres, whereas Vettel would need to pit. However, the rain held off, forcing Hamilton to pit again for intermediates, allowing Vettel to complete his scheduled second pit stop without losing the lead. He finished 12.5 seconds ahead of Kovalainen to become F1's youngest winner at the time, and Toro Rosso scored its first and only victory. But that is all in the past, and the 2022 season will be the final chapter in the legendary driver's motorsports career, at least for the time being. It goes without saying that news of Sebastian Vettel's retirement has made rounds throughout the paddock, with many drivers taking to social media to express their feelings, relive stories, and remember his incredible career. Seven-time world champion and long-time rival Lewis Hamilton came out with a statement saying, "Sebastian, it's been an honour to call you a competitor and an even greater honour to call you my friend. You're leaving this sport better than you found it, which is always the goal. I've no doubt that whatever comes next for you will be exciting, meaningful and rewarding. Love you, man." Ferrari driver Carlos Sainz also made a post on social media stating, "It's been an absolute pleasure and a great honour to have shared all these years alongside a person like you. You're definitely one of the reasons why I fell in love with this sport, and you've always been one of my main references both on and off the racing track." Now, Sebastian Vettel's departure from Grand Prix racing is also significant for Haas driver Mick Schumacher, as the pair have developed a close relationship since they've been competing against each other in F1. Schumacher has frequently sought advice from Vettel, and the pair often spent time with each other away from the track. Having been told by Vettel via text message on Thursday morning that he was retiring, Schumacher confessed that he was not overjoyed at the news. "Of course, I'm very sad on one side. He's obviously going to leave a huge hole in the sport because he's such a character in F1 and such a special person. But he's also such a likeable person, so I'll miss him very much." Schumacher stated that losing Vettel would have an impact on more than just his time on the track. "It's much more than just the races. It's being able to go visit him in the evenings and have dinner with him. That's what I'm really going to miss. He's just somebody that I'm able to talk to in my own language. He's going to be super missed by everybody, but especially by me." Asked if he was surprised by Vettel's decision, Schumacher said, "I wouldn't say surprised. I mean, I know Seb pretty well. I feel and I know that he's got other things that he wants to do. And at the end, I feel if he feels it's the right time, then he should do it. And I feel sometimes it's also just a matter of gut feeling, so I support it 100%. Now, with Vettel earning respect for his outspoken views on a variety of issues, including the environment and human rights, Schumacher agreed with other drivers that the Aston Martin driver's absence would be felt in the paddock. I think nobody can replace Sebastian. That's a fact. If it's not on the track, it's in a political way, and I think that yes, it's important to have somebody who speaks up and also attacks those points. But I think Sebastian has not stopped yet. As he said in his video, there's more to come, and I'm sure that we can all learn from what he still has to say. I'm sure that he will still have a big voice in F1, even if he's not himself driving. Now, following the news, several Formula 1 drivers suggested that Sebastian Vettel could continue to serve as a director of the Grand Prix Drivers Association after his retirement. Since 2010, when he won his first championship, the German driver has served as a GPDA director. He's currently one of 3 directors, along with Mercedes driver George Russell and Anastasia Fowl, who also serves as the organization's legal advisor, and its chairman, former Formula 1 driver Alex Wirtz. Speaking at the Hungaroring's pre-race press conference, Alpine racer Esteban Ocon said Vettel was a great ambassador for all drivers, raising his voice when there was concern for their safety or anything he didn't like concerning the drivers. Ocon continued, "On that regard, I hope he doesn't stay too far away from the paddock." When asked by the media if a potential replacement for Vettel in the GPDA would need to be similarly forthcoming on driver issues, and if such a candidate existed among the current field, Daniel Ricciardo outlined his thoughts on Vettel staying in his role. "Maybe we'll see if he wants to continue. Certainly he's done a good job. But yeah, Seb is a guy that a lot of the time just says it as it is. And I don't mean to, that's not in an aggressive way, he's just very honest and direct. And on topics like safety, then we don't need to beat around the bush. So I think his character is really good for that position. We'll see, it's obviously all very new news for us. I guess we'll discuss it internally and have a think who's a good replacement. But yeah, he was great for us." Meanwhile, Alfa Romeo's Valtteri Bottas responded to the same question. "I feel like it's quite hard to replace Seb in that kind of role because of the way he is. He's really straightforward and direct and doesn't go around things, just says things as they are and questions many things loudly. I hope he continues. Not sure if he's keen, but it would be great if he can continue." An example of Vettel loudly campaigning for driver safety, even while on track, occurred at the 2021 Belgian GP, both before and after Lando Norris crashed his McLaren at the Eau Rouge after rain intensified both Q3s, an incident at which Vettel stopped to see if the Briton was unharmed. The Aston Martin driver also recently received a suspended €25,000 fine for walking out of the Austrian GP driver's briefing because he was upset that the focus was on issues such as track limits rather than larger issues confronting the drivers. So, what are your thoughts on Sebastian Vettel's retirement? Was it something you expected or did it catch you off guard? Who do you think will fill the vacant position at Aston Martin in 2023 now that it's become available? We'd love to hear from you in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel, and don't forget to click the bell button to be notified of future videos.